Commissioners, you should have before you a copy of the fiscal year 24 budget message. There are some notations in the right-hand margin that coordinate with the budget book that you also have in front of you that indicate where the information that I'll mention in the budget message is actually located in the recommended budget document itself. You also have a copy of the budget presentation, which will be appearing on the screens as I talk through the budget message. So again, good evening. Thank you, Board, for the opportunity to present this very, very important document and this very, very important process to the Board of Commissioners tonight. As the budget officer and in accordance with North Carolina General Statute 159 and the Local Government Budget and Fiscal Control Act, I am honored to submit for your consideration the balanced fiscal year 24 recommended budget for Franklin County, North Carolina. I look forward to working with the Board to ensure that the mission, vision, values, and goals for Franklin County are accomplished through the fiscal year 24 adopted budget. I'm going to speak about the county's mission, vision, and values. The Franklin County Board of Commissioners confirmed on January 6, 2023, that the mission for Franklin County government continues to be to provide and support exemplary public service and expand economic opportunities. Franklin County government's leadership and employees have reviewed and discussed the county's mission, vision, values, and goals as our organization continues to address the challenges of growth and increased demand for government services and the commitment to maintaining strong fiscal performance. I'm going to talk about our economic environment. Franklin County's economy has continued to perform positively despite a number of challenges in our global and national economy. Franklin County has seen increased business and industrial development in our county and in our municipalities. Our population has continued to grow, and the latest census update distributed in March 2023 indicates our population is 74,539. With this census update, Franklin County has now been identified as the fastest growing county statistically in the Triangle area, with a growth rate of 7.85%. In the county population tables published in the North Carolina Office of State Budget and Management, Franklin County's projected population for 2050 is 138,523. A lot of folks headed our way. Based on the most recent U.S. Census updates, Franklin County is the fourth fastest growing county in North Carolina. In March of 2023, the county's unemployment rate was 3.7%, unchanged from the March 22 unemployment rate. One of the greatest challenges of the post-COVID economy is the availability of workforce. Franklin County government's current vacancy rate is approximately 8%. However, the county has been experiencing a vacancy rate in the range of 10 to 12% since October of 2022. County leadership has joined with Vance Granville Community College and Franklin County Schools to participate in the My Future NC effort. This statewide effort is focused on adding 2 million degreed or credentialed individuals to the workforce by 2030. Our collective efforts are focused on identifying the needed skills for industries and matching the educational curriculums and training with the identified in-demand skill sets. Interest in living in Franklin County has remained strong. 2022 calendar year-end single-family housing permits totaled 945 versus the 2021 calendar year-end single-family housing permit total of 1,110, representing a 15% decrease. But we're still above the 10-year historical permitting trends. The interest in living in Franklin County is continued and strong. Commercial permitting has remained strong with the calendar year 2022 totals of 127 and calendar year 2021 totals of 124. We are beginning to get much more interest in the economic and commercial development. The fiscal year 24 recommended budget has taken into account uncertain and challenging economic factors happening in our world today. The inflation rate has declined in the last 9 months to a current national average of 5.1%. One of the stabilizing factors has been increasing interest rates. However, the availability of products has remained uncertain in some categories, and the challenging employment vacancy rate continues to impact services and the completion of projects. In the last week, there have been particular concerns about recession activity that has really escalated across the board in conversation. The fiscal year 24 recommended budget focuses on essential needs for maintaining county services, including adding positions that are specifically identified as providing direct services, funding technology solutions, providing vehicles to accomplish service delivery, maintaining competitive employee compensation and benefits, and providing resources and funds to complete the infrastructure and economic expansion projects necessary for successful growth preparation. The recommended capital projects will be carefully reviewed and appropriate timelines adjusted based on grant funding, economic conditions, labor availability, and materials pricing and delivery. Some fiscal year 23 highlights. There have been a number of significant projects underway. We've talked about these many times here in the boardroom, and there are some additional projects which have begun and have been identified. So here's a few summaries. I'll just go through some highlights because, as I said, you've heard about these before. You've addressed them and dealt with them and supported them as we move forward. US 1 North Commerce Park, again, a 100-acre industrial development project on Long Mill Road in Youngsville. 5 new buildings, 1.3 million square feet of industrial development space. Triangle North Franklin Business Park, a road, water, and sewer infrastructure project in Section B. Franklin County was recently awarded a grant from the North Carolina Department of Commerce that will construct this infrastructure. And the board supported this on April 3rd of 2023 and committed to provide the matching funds. The public safety radio system, you hear about that at least once a month here. $15 million project that is moving forward, looking to a completion in June of 2024. Emergency Communications PSAP building. Again, another project that is nearing completion out on T. Kemp Road near the Sheriff's Office, a hardened facility designed to withstand extreme weather conditions and house our emergency communications staff. Wastewater treatment plant renovation. Again, another large project that is nearing completion. Should be complete in September of 2023, adding all kinds of upgrades at our wastewater treatment plant. Triangle North Executive Airport, an airfield pavement rehabilitation project. Last summer we paved the runway. This summer we'll be paving around the hangars and adding some additional items there. Again, a grant-funded project for $11.9 million. Another project that's underway, automated water meter project. Again, Ferguson was awarded that contract back in January of 2022. Public Utilities has been working diligently on that with a hopeful completion date of February 2024. Again, impacted by things like the delivery of supplies and materials. Youngsville Solid Waste Convenience Site. That contract was awarded to NESCO back in January of 2023 to design and manage the project. Hopefully bid documents will be distributed very soon with the goal of construction activities beginning in June of 2023. Franklinton to Novozymes Rails to Trails project. Franklin County and the town of Franklinton are working together on a $3.7 million project to construct a trail along the rail bed from Franklinton to Novozymes. And Epsom Park. Again, the Franklin County was awarded a Cardiff grant for $434,625 back in November of 2022. The county has an equal match for that award and recently awarded the management responsibilities to Alfred Benish and Company, and looking forward to getting going on that project. So lots of things continue to be going on in Franklin County. Budget goals. Part of the statute in regard to the budget presentation is very specific. The budget goals need to be laid out. Franklin County's goal to be fiscally strong and engaged government continues to provide the framework and guidance for the fiscal year 24 recommended budget. Specifically, our budget goals support maintaining the county's strong financial position and fiscal management policies and procedures. The budget reflects progress toward accomplishing the mission, vision, values, and goals adopted and confirmed by the Board of Commissioners, conservative revenue budgeting, and reasonable expenditure projections in view of the uncertain economic factors in our current economy. Adherence to adopted fiscal policies, North Carolina general statutes, federal laws and guidelines, and the financial processes that have demonstrated success in protecting the county's assets. A review of the current ad valorem tax rate and fees for county services with new or revised fees included as part of the recommended budget. Focusing resources and training on gaining efficiencies through innovation and technology, and long-term planning for the impact of population growth and the resulting increased demand for county services throughout all departments. The county budget impact. Franklin County's annual budget provides comprehensive and detailed information to guide the activities of county government. The budget guides decisions and priorities for the upcoming fiscal period and identifies the areas where energy and expertise will be focused. This requires input from numerous employees, consultants, community partners, and support organizations. The recommended fiscal year 24 general fund budget totals $111,198,692. The recommended budget for all funds needed to manage county government operations totals $162,134,940. Revenues. The two major categories for revenues are ad valorem property taxes and sales tax. The tax administrator has provided a total taxable county values projection as of April 24, 2023 of $7,532,000. I won't read that full number, but $7,532,000,000. Excuse me, I said thousand. Million. 7 billion, a big number, which represents growth of 6.8% over the previous year's taxable county value amount of just over $7 billion. The budgeted fiscal year 24 current property tax revenues are $57,948,101. The proposed budget establishes a collection rate of 98% based on the actual fiscal year 23 collection rate of 98.4%, which is the same as the established fiscal year 23 collection rate of 98%. Fiscal year 24 current property tax revenues are budgeted to increase $3,708,102 over the budgeted fiscal year 23 current property tax revenues of $54,239,999. Collection of sales tax revenue is projected to be $17.1 million for fiscal year 23. The fiscal year 24 sales tax revenue budget is $15,413,653. The conservative estimate allows for the impact of rising interest rates and increasing consumer debt on consumer spending patterns. Don't want to get too far out there with our confidence in sales tax revenue, because people are being impacted by rising interest rates. Property tax rates. Current property taxes account for approximately 51.2% of the county's total revenues. The fiscal year 24 recommended budget recommends that the current tax rate remain at 0.785. Economic conditions, including interest rates and the inflationary pressures, have created uncertainty that must be included in the budget development process. As economic development in the county continues to increase, the percentage of ad valorem taxes from commercial properties will expand. For the fiscal year 24 recommended budget, a penny on the tax rate contributes $738,192. Of the 100 counties in the state of North Carolina, there are currently 25 other counties with tax rates higher than Franklin County. Use of fund balance and projected fiscal year 23 year-end fund balance. A much discussed topic. An amount of $2,774,221 has been appropriated from unassigned fund balance for inclusion in this recommended budget. This amount is 28.8%, or just over $800,000 less than the fiscal year 23 appropriated fund balance amount of just over $3.5 million. The county does not project to use any of the original $3.5 million that was budgeted in the fiscal year 23 budget ordinance. The projected fiscal year 23 year-end fund balance amount is $51,774,221. $725,057, and the unassigned portion is $30,685,057. Expenditures. County Department budget presentations provided details on the challenges of growth that each department is facing. Just want to be clear that everyone on the leadership team contributed to this budget in some way or another. The expenditures have been carefully reviewed and prioritized based on the budget goals and the county goals adopted by the Board of Commissioners. Overall, departmental requests for the general fund and enterprise fund totaled somewhere in the range of $142 million. After budget meetings and discussions with department heads, expenditure recommendations were developed. The first area I want to address in terms of fiscal year 24 budget recommendations is the positions recommended. And these are the positions recommended in the general fund. It takes a lot of energy and effort to serve all of the needs of our residents. The fiscal year 24 recommended budget includes 20 positions funded in the general fund, including 18 full-time and 2 part-time that were appropriately requested and justified by department heads. These positions are recommended to start at various times throughout the year based on the operational needs justified by each respective department. In addition, 2 positions are requested to be classified from part-time to full-time. For the additional positions requested or reclassified, the total requested salary and benefits amount is $1,653,826. The positions recommended. First on the list, emergency medical services. A recommendation for 1 full-time position in order to establish a second peak demand 12-hour shift. The following full-time position is recommended to begin August 1st of 2023, an EMS captain as a new position. Also, to complete the 12-hour shift, it takes more than a captain, 2 existing EMS paramedic positions and 2 existing EMS emergency medical technicians will be moved to the peak demand shift with no addition to headcount. I want to comment that our review of EMS operations is ongoing. As this shift is established, as we move forward with continuing demands for EMS services in the county, the need to add positions may need to be revisited. But we want to get this position and this shift up and running, and that way we know exactly what other needs there might be. Again, continuing to look at public safety in the sheriff's office. A recommendation for 4 full-time positions. An investigator, DVO, to begin August 1st of 2023. A deputy sheriff in the patrol division, 2 positions to begin September 1st of 2023. And an investigator in the sex abuse ICAC area to begin January 1st of 2024. We have a number of needs in the sheriff's office, but this gets us moving forward with the identified resources that are needed to protect the citizens here in Franklin County. Deputy Fire Marshal is recommended, a full-time position in the Emergency Management Department to begin August 1st. We have a full-time Fire Marshal who's very, very busy. As things grow, more inspections, more permitting, need another set of hands on deck to make these things come together. In environmental health, another department that delivers services directly to citizens, recommending an environmental health specialist full-time to begin August 1st, and an environmental health processing assistant 3 full-time to begin August 1st. Again, growth has increased the activity levels and the residents' needs in this department. Animal shelter attendants. 2 animal shelter attendants full-time recommended in the Animal Services Department, 1 to begin August 1st of 2023 and 1 to begin January 1st of 2024. Another area where services are needed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to look after all that's going on in our Animal Services Department. A safety and risk manager full-time in the Human Resources Department to begin September 1st of 2023. Risk management has been managed across 2 to 3 departments. It needs to be centralized in one location, and therefore all of the safety questions and risk management topics can be more efficiently handled. library branch manager and library assistant. A full-time library branch manager and a part-time library assistant in the library department, both to begin August 1st of 2023. As we are post-COVID, libraries are becoming a great source of information, and there are lots of opportunities for libraries to be places where folks can go to find out what kinds of services the county offers. A tax land records assistant, full-time in the tax department, to begin August 1st of 2023. An accountant focused on procurement, full-time in the finance department, to begin October 1st of 2023. The projects that I mentioned that are ongoing in fiscal year 23 and fiscal year 24, all of those projects equal some sort of procurement, some rules to follow. State rules, federal rules, all kinds of things follow along for each and every step of each project. Facilities maintenance projects coordinator, full-time in the maintenance department, to begin August 1st. A facilities maintenance preventative maintenance technician, full-time in the maintenance department, to begin August 1st. Again, as we add facilities, as we add people, as we add offices and desks and processes, we need to make sure we're looking after our facilities. A social worker 3, focused on community support, full-time in the social services department, to begin August 1st of 2023. We've mentioned issues about homelessness, places for folks to live, food services, food banks, all those kinds of things. Looking to work with DSS in this position to help centralize those issues. Also are working carefully with our municipal leadership, because these issues are happening throughout the county, but in some cases are concentrated in our municipalities. So again, looking to develop that kind of support for community resources in those areas. Assistant County Manager, full-time in the County Manager's office, to begin January 1st of 2024. Again, more departments, more oversight, more complexity, takes more time to manage. Lots of additional rules and activities going on. An Airport Operations Assistant, part-time in the Airport Department, to begin August 1st of 2023. The airport is growing. As we do these paving projects, we are attracting more air traffic, more planes are coming in, more opportunities for fueling and services, and gradually adding the resources to provide those services. In the Information Technology Department, 2 part-time positions are recommended to be reclassified from part-time to full-time positions to begin July 1st of 2023. A technology support specialist and an administrative support specialist too. Those are the positions in the general fund. Next, I want to talk about vehicles. Vehicles recommended in the general fund. Another challenging topic. Lots of needs in this area, because vehicles are tools that employees use to deliver services. The rising cost of vehicles and the lack of ready availability of vehicle supplies were very important considerations in evaluating vehicle requests. The capital improvement plan includes an annual amount for vehicles in various categories and departments. As a result of the number of requests and the changing operations in Franklin County, the need for vehicles will be addressed in 2 ways. The first will be the recommendations that I'll speak of in just a minute, but the second will be a focus on studying vehicle fleet needs in fiscal year 24 to determine if a vehicle pool to facilitate vehicle sharing is an appropriate solution, and also to define what are the overall characteristics for the county's fleet of vehicles. How long do we keep them? How many miles do we have on them? What are the servicing processes? All of those kinds of things. Currently, across all general fund departments, there are 279 vehicles in service. The number just grows. A total of 16 vehicles are being recommended for purchase in the fiscal year 24 budget from a total of 46 vehicles that were requested. All vehicles purchased, of course, shall follow the guidelines in the county's fleet policy. The Sheriff's Office, 10 vehicles for the Patrol Division as assigned and rotated, $650,000. The EMS Department, 1 ambulance, $350,000. And I'll mention that in both of those categories, ordering the vehicles doesn't mean they're going to show up tomorrow. It can be 6 to 9 to 12 months before we actually get those resources. Information Technology Department, 1 vehicle to replace a high mileage vehicle. $30,537. In the maintenance department, 1 truck for a new position and 1 truck to replace existing high mileage vehicle, $76,394. In animal services, 1 truck to replace an existing animal services officer high mileage vehicle, $39,000. And in social services, 1 vehicle to replace an existing high mileage aged vehicle, $33,037. The total cost of the 16 vehicles, $1,178,968. All the vehicles will be cash funded in the fiscal year 24 budget. We have done some financing of vehicles in the past when interest rates were at the 2 and 3% level. Not the case anymore. They'll be cash funded. That's the recommendation, at least. As the fiscal year progresses, the availability of vehicles will continue to be monitored. And if additional funds are identified, then requests for vehicles may be revised during the fiscal year. All right, compensation recommendations. Franklin County employees have spent fiscal year 23 preparing for the implementation of the Excellence in County Government Pay for Performance program. Most recently, the county manager delivered an update to employees about the projected fiscal year 24 implementation activities. The performance pay increases for the fiscal year 24 results will be paid in July 2024 and included in the fiscal year 25 budget. As employees prepare for this new process, a cost of living adjustment, or COLA, of 2% with a projected dollar amount of $764,479 for the general fund and enterprise funds is recommended for implementation on the September 4th, 2023 pay period. The COLA is recommended for all full-time positions and part-time positions. Funding of $95,000 to support conducting the classification and compensation study is also recommended for inclusion in the budget. Recruiting challenges continue, and an updated study will assess the county's competitiveness with salary offerings for positions. Next, I'm going to talk about some specific adjustments that are recommended. Public safety positions in the sheriff's office, detention center, and emergency communications departments are recommended to receive salary adjustments. Recall that we adjusted EMS salaries earlier in this year. Again, the increases in salaries for the law enforcement certified positions in the sheriff's office and detention center are recommended to ensure that recruiting efforts remain strong and that retention of experienced employees is maintained. For the sheriff's office, the total amount of annual increase is $302,329 across 10 job titles to adjust for market conditions and experience. For the detention center, the total amount of annual increase is $148,383 across 5 job titles, and salaries for emergency communications employees are recommended to increase by $118,486 across 8 job titles. The vacancy rate in emergency communications has exceeded the average rate for the county, and positions in this department are critical to achieve public safety goals. Fee schedule changes in the general fund. The annual fee schedule is published each year with the recommended budget information and can be found on the Finance Department webpage. A summary of the departments with fee schedule changes recommended for fiscal year 24 budget are listed below. The detailed individual fee schedules are included as attachment A to the budget message. There are also items being removed from the fee schedule summarized below and included in a separate list on attachment A. I'm not going to review each of these in detail, but I want to point out 2 things. The changes are effective July 1st of 2023, unless otherwise noted. And really the only department in the general fund with an exception to that effective date is Parks and Recreation. And the effective date for their fees is November 1st of 2023. All right, next. Educational opportunities. Franklin County has continued to demonstrate the county's commitment to partner with our schools to ensure appropriate funding based on student population, as described in Franklin County's adopted Goal 5, Diverse Educational Opportunities. For fiscal year 24, Education funding has been the most challenging topic to address because the provision of education in North Carolina and the guidelines and funding formulas are all evolving. Some have voiced support to simply provide the requested amount received from the Franklin County school system. However, a request that increases funding in a single year by 15.6% or $3.4 million without sufficient analysis is an irresponsible action that may not be in the best long-term interest of Franklin County taxpayers. To understand more, Franklin County staff, Franklin County commissioners, the superintendent, and Franklin County school staff and Board of Education representatives have met several times to review and to discuss the Franklin County Schools fiscal year 24 request. Franklin County Schools has indicated a need for $100 million in capital over the next 10 years. Currently, the county has annual school debt payments of $6,084,761, and the total outstanding school debt of $35,261,979 as of March 2023. School debt comprises 62% of the total Franklin County debt as of March 2023. The Franklin County Board of Commissioners has requested a capital report by August 21st, 2023, so that appropriate planning for such a tremendous expenditure can be accomplished. Franklin County anticipates working with Franklin County school staff in the development of the report. In addition, 2 specific additional projects identified in the fiscal year 23 budget are moving forward. A paving project will be accomplished over 3 years, beginning with funding being requested at tonight's meeting, and estimates are being gathered for the second project. Franklin County's role in supporting Franklin County schools for capital projects is longstanding. The North Carolina legislature has several education topics under review that could change the process for traditional public school and charter school funding. Franklin County is following these topics closely to understand the potential impact on future budgets and requests for education funding. Franklin County has taken these points into consideration in making the ultimate determination of the recommended fiscal year 24 funding. Franklin County Schools leadership requested $28,328,192 in total funding for fiscal year 24. The Franklin County Schools fiscal year 24 request is comprised of $25,328,192 for operating expenses and $3 million for capital projects, representing a requested increase of 15.6% in local expense and 100% in capital. The recommended fiscal year 24 budget includes funding the Franklin County Schools operating expenses at $22,677,682, representing an increase of 3.5% above the fiscal year 23 local expense amount. Funding for capital is recommended at an amount of $1.5 million for a total Franklin County Schools funding recommendation of $24,177,862. The next slide is Franklin County Schools history of funding. It reflects the funding for Franklin County Schools over the last 9 years. Charter school funding is required to be made from the Franklin County Schools' current expense based on the number of Franklin County resident students who choose to attend a charter school. I encourage you to look at this chart to understand the statistics in regard to education. There's a lot of information contained on this chart. The most important point is that funding has continued to increase each year for Franklin County Schools, and again this year, the fiscal year 24 education budget is the largest education budget recommended in Franklin County today. Vance Scramble Community College. Vance Scramble Community College has requested funding of $414,495 for operational expenses and $20,000 for capital for the next fiscal year. The fiscal year 24 recommendation is to fund the requested amount through a combination of $389,168 in funding, plus using $45,627 from the existing Vance Scramble Community College Franklin County fund balance to provide the total amount requested. Franklin County staff has been participating with Vance Granville Community College staff in meetings with the selected architect to plan and design a new workforce and advanced technical training center at the Franklin County campus. The Economic Development Administration, the EDA, awarded Vance Granville a $264,000 grant to support the planning and design of the new facility. The planning grant supports the $3.5 million commitment made by the Board of Commissioners in April 2020 for the construction of a new building on the Franklin County campus to begin within 5 years. The Franklin County Schools Early College Program relocated in fiscal year 21 from the mobile classroom building provided by Franklin County into Building 5 on the Vance Granville Community College Franklin campus. The support and funding dedicated to this project has allowed the Franklin County Schools Early College Program the space needed to grow and expand that program. So again, another example of Franklin County's commitment to supporting Franklin County schools, a $3.5 million commitment that will come to be in fiscal year 25 for the expansion of this building. I want to talk next about opioid settlement funds and the recommendations around that. Franklin County participated in the National Opioid Settlement process and as a result will be receiving funds annually for 18 years. Payments of $417,886 have been received. The North Carolina Association of County Commissioners led a team to create the strategies for utilizing the settlement funds, and Franklin County has selected to form a community care team to centralize the activities and reporting requirements. The formation of the community care team will be a collaborative cross-departmental team that will coordinate the county's response to the county manager's health initiative, opioid overdose epidemic, substance use, and mental health. The team will work across all departments, especially those on the front lines of the opioid overdose epidemic, to streamline resource sharing and coordinate the response to these facing crisis in our community. The current funding will allow the following positions to be funded. Not going to specifically read the descriptions, I'm just going to read the job titles. A community care administrator to lead the team, a community care coordinator, a licensed clinical social worker, and a peer support specialist. And again, these positions will be centralized in the community care team, but will be out and about helping in the sheriff's office, in EMS, in the health department, in DSS, other departments throughout the county. The National Opioid Settlement Funds are actually deposited into a grant project fund, and therefore a budget amendment for this grant project fund will be presented for approval to establish the recommended community care team. Renewed focus on health initiatives. Progress on Franklin County's health initiatives has been ongoing throughout the year. Activity will continue into fiscal year 24. First point, we'll continue our collaboration with Mariah Parham Franklin to improve EMS transports to the facility. Transports to Mariah Parham Franklin have increased by 34% from May of 2022 to May of 2023. We've kept resources in the county and been able to assist and maintain and grow the Mariah Parham Franklin facility. Implementing the community care team, as I've just mentioned, another health initiative, support the establishment of additional primary care and specialty physician offices and medical practices. We are beginning to see doctors and specialists come back into our county. We work with the hospital on that. We work with medical providers to attract those folks to the county. Focus on promoting healthy living through the creation and funding for parks and trails. I've mentioned Epsom Park, Franklin to Tenovo Zine Trails to Trails, park improvements and promotions. All of those things are important for health initiatives. Continue service and facility improvements at the health department. The health department has done some facilities upgrades. They also have new providers and new services as they have worked to attract citizens post-COVID back to services at the health department. Medicaid expansion. We heard about Medicaid expansion at a recent commissioners meeting. Implementation activities are going to be monitored to see when resources will be need to be added to serve the estimated 4,000 new Medicaid recipients in Franklin County. Once we know what federal funding and state funding might provide, we'll be back before the Board of Commissioners asking for whatever support or action is needed to move forward. Fire department tax rates. The majority of the county's fire departments did not request a change in their fire tax for fiscal year '24. Hopkins requested an increase from 5.5 cents to 7 cents, a 1.5 cent increase, and Franklinton requested an increase from 7 cents to 8 cents, a 1 cent increase. The requested fire tax rate changes are recommended for implementation. In support of fire department's commitment to supporting EMS in our county, the EMS budget includes funding to provide first responder supplies to fire departments that perform medical first responder duties. Franklin County is currently developing a medical first responder program, including guidelines and a memorandum of understanding that fire departments can execute to participate in the process. Again, this will be before the Board of Commissioners in the near future for consideration. I'm going to talk now about our enterprise funds. Public Utilities Enterprise Fund. Franklin County Public Utilities continues to expand due to residential and commercial growth in Franklin County. Currently, 9,575 customers are served, reflecting an increase of 5.7% from the fiscal year '22 year-end number of 9,059 customers served. The recommended fiscal year '24 public utilities budget totals $20,215,000. It addresses infrastructure expansion and recommended rate changes to address growth. The water rates and sewer rates are recommended to increase as follows. I'm not going to read every single rate increase. This is contained within the budget message and within the fee schedule, but I will point out, for example, the base rate for low volume water user is $37.63 currently. The proposed rate is $42.15. The sewer low volume rate is $43.90, and the proposed rate is $49.17. These rate changes are recommended to be effective September 2023. With the September 2023 billing cycle, information to customers and billing notices will be distributed to provide details about this rate change. Infrastructure investments and the implementation of the 2019 water supply study recommendations support these rate increases. On November 16, 2020, the final report in the water supply study was delivered to the board and included rate recommendations to support the investments needed for a long-term water solution for Franklin County. 2 other additional services and fees: a temporary reconnect disconnect fee, a new fiscal year '24 proposed fee of $40, and a seasonal use fee increasing from $35 to $40. New positions in public utilities. Recommending 3 full-time positions with a total requested salary and benefits budgeted amount of $194,732. A utilities asset protection technician in the water division, and a utilities asset protection technician in the sewer division, both recommended to start August 1st. And a utilities crew leader in the water division, recommended to start August 1st. Vehicles and equipment in the Public Utilities Enterprise Fund. These are recommended for funding in fiscal year '24. These are needed to perform the daily work functions and support the capital projects underway in the department. The total amount recommended is $437,000. It includes funds for replacement of some vehicles and the addition of some vehicles and equipment. First is a 1-ton sewer jet truck for the sewer division, $225,000. Replacing a current half-ton pickup truck for the sewer division, $44,000. Purchasing a half-ton pickup truck for the asset protection division, sewer division, $40,000. The same increase or request for the asset protection position for the water position, water division, $40,000. And replacing 2 half-ton pickup trucks for the water division, 2 at $44,000 equals a total of $88,000. Public utilities capital projects. We mentioned some of those projects when I talked about the fiscal year '23 activities. There's a couple of notable others that I'd like to mention. The Franklinton Sanitary Sewer Pump Station project, that's nearing completion. There are 3 sewer pump stations in Franklinton that were very much in need of repair and replacement: Korea Street, US 1A, and Oak Park. That work is well underway. Youngsville Main Street Utilities Upgrade. We've talked about this quite frequently. Most people who have driven through Youngsville lately know what's happening there. A streetscape project that created the opportunity for us to partner with the town to get the water and sewer infrastructure in tip-top shape before new asphalt was poured. Fiscal year 24 recommended capital projects totaling $12.55 million include the following. Just want to point out that the funding sources for these projects will be a combination of utility funds and ARPA funds. Youngsville Force Main Replacement for sewer, $2.5 million. East Youngsville Elevated Water Tank, obviously in the Water Division, $4.2 million. Franklin County Public Utilities Shop Storage Maintenance Building at the wastewater treatment plant location, $1.85 million. Need to make sure we are protecting those assets and equipment that we are investing in. A Novo Tank blending station improvements, again, a gateway into our water system, $2 million. Water main at Cedar Creek for a 12-inch line, $250,000 for an engineering analysis so that we can appropriately plan for that upgrade. SCADA replacement, water and sewer, $1.5 million. Again, using innovation and technology to help us monitor what's going on with our utility systems. Wastewater treatment plant capacity study for sewer, $250,000. Need to make sure we're planning appropriately for sewer, as well as all the plans that have been underway for water. Another enterprise fund, the solid waste department. The solid waste department is appropriately designated as an enterprise fund. The total recommended fiscal year 24 budget is $5,449,836. Fiscal year 24 budget includes a solid waste convenience fee increase of $10, resulting in a total fee of $110. A truck at an amount of $38,197 is recommended for purchase in the solid waste department to replace an existing high mileage vehicle. Improvements to the solid waste convenience sites will begin with the Moulton site, where additional space has recently been leased. Upgrades and repairs at the transfer station are also being designed and will be implemented by December of 2023. The new Youngsville convenience site plan is being finalized for bidding, and funds are also included in the budget for the continuing testing and maintenance of the county's closed landfill, a requirement that we